Hello guys, today I have a review for you, and the things I'm gonna take a closer look at are these Spectrum Noir markers, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce noir totally. Anyway, I've seen a few artists using them, so I thought it would be fun to try them out and let you guys know what I think about them. No one sent these to me, I bought them myself with my own money, so I got these at eBay, but I've seen them in a bunch of different stores that sells art supplies, and I got a set of 24 markers for about 21 British pounds, which is about 27 US dollars I think. So these are not really super cheap, but they are not super expensive either. There were a few sets to choose from, and I picked the bright set that got a bunch of very vibrant and neon colors, and to be honest, it wasn't that easy to pick a set because I couldn't find any that just got the basic colors. Either there were sets with very bright colors like this one, or very dark colors, or super light ones, or pastel only. So I chose this one since it was the most colorful set that I could find that had a decent variety of color tones. These are alcohol-based markers like Pro markers or Copics, which means that you can blend the colors together easily, and you can apparently use them on paper, fabric, glass, wood, metal and ceramic and more. But I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way today and use them on paper only. And these are also refillable, so if they would run out of ink, you don't need to buy new pens. So this is what the pens looks like, and I haven't seen any markers like this before I think. They are hexagon shaped, which might be good since they can't roll off as easy as a cylinder shaped marker. And they are double-ended with one smaller pointed nib that is marked with a grey line by the cap, and on the other side there is a wider chisel nib for larger area fills. The pointy nib is actually quite flexible as well. And another interesting little feature are the laced pattern rubbery part near the nibs. It looks a little out of place, but I guess the purpose is to give a better grip when holding the pen. They feel pretty nice to hold though, but maybe a little clumsy perhaps. Another thing I noticed when making the color chart is that the colors at the end of the pen cap doesn't really match the actual color at all. I am aware that they can't make the exact same color, but some of them are really off, and what's also very confusing is that some of the higher numbers are lighter than the lower ones, so they seem to be a little out of order. Usually the lower the number is, the lighter the color is, so if you get these pens, I really recommend you to make a color chart so you get a better picture of what colors you gotta work with. So let's try out the markers. Markers are one of my favorite art mediums to work with. I have been using Pro markers for many years, and I will probably continue using them since I built a quite large collection of them over the years. But I always think it's fun to try out new supplies that could complement what I already got. And I know there are a lot of people out there trying to figure out what markers that would fit them the best, so hopefully this review will be helpful for some of you. And let me know if there are any other markers or art supply out there that you would like me to try out and review. Since I got all these vivid colors to work with, I made this portrait of a girl with long curly pink hair with orange colored ends, and the first thing I noticed is that the markers are very wet or watery. I'm not sure what to call it. Not that there is actual water in them, but they bleed so much more than other markers that I've used. I'm not sure what is causing it, but it might have something to do with the softer pen nibs perhaps. It's not really a brush nib, but it is quite soft as I mentioned earlier, so it seems like there is a lot of ink in one pen stroke. I haven't decided yet if I like it or not. It might be a matter of taste and what you are used to. The colors turned out super vibrant. I really liked the way they look on the paper. They also felt very covering or opaque, but it's probably because they are almost all mid-tone colors. There was one lighter green that felt a little more translucent, but it was also very watery, more than the other ones for some reason. one thing that I had a little trouble with was the smell, and I am used to the sharp smell of the markers. It hasn't really bothered me before, but some of the markers, not all, just some of them, smelled really bad, and I find that a little weird. I thought that since they are all made by the same company, shouldn't they all have the same kind of ink in them? Maybe it depends on the color tones or something, that they had to use different kinds of ink for different colors. I don't know, there is something strange going on here. And speaking of the ink, the colors blended together nicely. For the hair I mixed the pink and orange, and I think it turned out great. They doesn't look streaky or anything, and I'm also using a Pro Marker blender pen since there was no blender pen included in this Spectrum Noir set, and it worked great with the pens, so it seems like you can mix them together with other markers without any trouble. I mentioned before that I thought the pens felt a bit clumsy to hold, but I didn't really think about that while I was drawing, so I guess I have to take that back. I also appreciate the rubbery grip, since the pens are very angular. It made the edges a little softer against the hand and fingers. If I could change anything with these pens, it would be the way they are color-coded. I found it very difficult to find the right color I was looking for while they were laying on the table. I had to pick them up and turn them around and look at the caps to see the number of the colors, which didn't really tell me anything, so I had to check my color chart frequently. And I think it would have been a little easier if at least the whole cap was colored and that the numbers were written at the side as well. And I would also find them a little smoother to use if the caps looked different for the different nibs, and I didn't really pay attention to the grey little mark, and half the time I pulled off the wrong caps. So in conclusion, what do I think about the Spectrum Noir markers? Well, besides that some of them smelled really bad and that the color codes are way off, I did actually enjoy working with them. I liked the vibrant color tones and that they stayed vibrant even after they dried, and I also liked that the pointed nib was a little softer and slightly flexible, a little too watery, or what you could call it for my taste, but other than that I think they are nice markers to work with. It may not be my first recommendation when it comes to which markers to choose, but if you would buy these, you will get a quite decent markers to a decent price, and if you are just starting to collect these, I would recommend you to get these one by one if that's possible, or in smaller sets, so you could get a wider range of color tones. So that's all I had to say about the Spectrum Noir markers, I think. I hope you liked this review and that it was a little helpful for someone. I also hope that you liked this drawing. I really like how it turned out anyway. It looks so fresh and bright. The hair almost looks a little like jelly or liquid. She became a little pale perhaps, but when you have a limited amount of color tones, you just have to work with what you got, I guess. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter or both if you want to. I'm catfucked there as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for even more artsy videos and reviews. Thank you so much for watching and keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!